The smell of freshly brewed coffee welcomes us as soon as we step in. Like the usual, several tables and chairs have been set up for the patrons, but most of the customers have foregone them in favor of the more comfortable throw pillows and bean bags the staff have laid out on the floor. That's like a pretty cool cafe, bro. Becca would love to know that they have something like this on Sundays. She's been complaining how uncomfortable the library chairs are for a long time now. Yeah, that man just look like a professor. As leads to a secluded spot near the window where an old man, probably in his 50s or 60s, I guess so, is seated enjoying a brew and a book.
Professor Clark.
Clark Kent.
It's just Andrew now. I'm no longer your professor, Detective Inspector Frey.
The guy Andrew looks up from his book and gives him a smile. A sheepish look crosses Ash's face at the older man's astonishment. More unusual in my opinion, seeing him appear like a parent has just scolded him. But it suggests a familiarity between them, one that goes beyond what someone expects from a simple student and mentor. With another warm smile, he gestures for us to take the empty seats opposite him.
Have you been waiting long?
Damn.
I took the liberty of ordering for you two. I hope you don't mind. I thought it'd be best to talk over a decent helping of coffee.
Soon enough, a waiter brings us 2 more cups and sets down a basket of pastries.
Aren't you going to introduce the lady?
Ah, right. Sorry. Isabella, this is Prof. Andrew. He's one of my professors back at the university. Andrew, this is Isabella Santos.
Santos. Portuguese? Spanish? Brazilian? Mexican?
Filipina, actually. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
Ah, your name carries a lot of history, Miss Santos. Just Andrew is fine. Don't do what Ashton's doing. He doesn't listen to this old man.
He doesn't listen to anyone more like. Can't get me behind it, more like it. The awkward tension typically present in first meetings dissipates after that. I was expecting someone strict to an extent, someone severe. But Professor Andrew Clark, that's okay then. It's definitely the opposite of what I have in mind. The more personable kind, similar to a grandfather who dotes on you at family gatherings. It's obvious why Ash has taken a liking to him.
Ashton tells me there's something you wish to discuss that I could help with. Let's hear it then.
I give Ash a hesitant glance, but he just nods and gestures towards Andrew with his head. He's leaving this to me. It's my story to tell after all. I keep it short and concise. I found a letter in this old mansion and now I'm cursed. Exactly as I have told Ash and Zach when they asked about it. I don't mention the name or the place. No use saying it now that someone legally owns it. No use dragging other people into my problems.
I'm sure it's that letter I found. But I don't know anymore. I just want to know how to escape this nightmare.
Of course. We're talking about the one in Anselm Village, aren't we?
How did you...
Don't look so surprised. There's only one place popular enough here if we're going to talk about hauntings. I once had a colleague who wrote about it and the urban legends surrounding the place. Years worth of study, but fascinating. It's a shame he passed away at such a young age. He would have done a much better job at explaining topics like this one compared to me. Ashton here might disagree, but it's an interesting topic in sociology, if you care to have an open mind.
Studying the science and theory behind it is completely different from outright believing in it.
Okay.
You don't believe in those stories, sir?
Now, this isn't a question of belief. All I'm saying is things like these speak a lot about a place's culture and history. And it's not just limited to ghosts. Monsters, gods, you name it. Even you, Miss Santos.
What about me?
How you respond to these stories. It tells a lot about you and your upbringing, in the same way it tells me why our detective inspector here finds such topics absurd. Interesting, isn't it?
My head is starting to spin from all of this. I'm not the smartest person around, but I understand what he's trying to get at, I think. It's still too much to take in at once. I look to ask for help, but his eyebrows are drawn in a frown. If he keeps staring like that at his cup, I'm pretty sure it'll crack soon.
There's still something you're not telling.
Didn't I tell you everything the other day?
Yeah, but you mentioned the rights, then you proceeded to drop the topic right after. What's with that?
They don't have anything to do with this.
Rights. Luke and Hannah, right?
Yeah, they're the ones who got the place.
Ah, I'm not surprised. They're the kind who gets what they want when they set their eyes on it. From what I've heard, word gets around.
A heavy sigh escapes my lips. Popular or not, they're just my clients. Albeit a little pushy, but just clients, end of story. I wish he stopped pestering me about them. Which one, bro? They have to shut up or I know you're trying to help.
Depends on how you want the relationship to be.
I kind of like Ash. What is it again that Becca does when dealing with a particular difficult child? The pesky and annoying kind. I wish I could remember. I could certainly use that same trick right about now.
Ashton, look here. I know you're trying to help, but the deal's almost already closed. The papers are being prepared. Once it's done, it's over. I'm just their agent.
And when is that happening?
When what? Is there even a purpose to this line of questioning?
Your working relationship with them. When's it going to end?
About a week from now? It depends on how long the papers will take, but they want us to rush it.
Really? You're absolutely sure about that?
Yes, really. Unless they want to buy a house again and want me and Rose to be their agent. If yes, then I don't see a problem with it. Now stop annoying me about it.
Don't accept it.
What? Why? It's my job.
Oh Lord, even my younger siblings are this difficult to deal with. Then again, Ash far from a younger sibling to me. If he'd only spell it out, surely I understand. We wouldn't even have to talk about it right now. That's how it is, right? Find an even ground, talk about it like the adults we are. It wasn't like this before. But somewhere along the way, something has changed in us as people, as friends. Because he like you. I wish there was a way I could tell when or why. Instead, I'm left searching blindly for reasons. The next thing we know, we'll be drifting further and further apart. How frustrating.
Now, kids, settle down. We're not going to solve anything by shouting.
Sorry, Sir Andrew.
And we're not going to solve anything either if you keep omitting things.
Speak for yourself. I'm not the only one doing it.
You'll have to forgive my former student, Miss Santos. He's always been the curious kind. Many people think he's lazy, but it's actually the opposite. I see that hasn't changed.
Oh, really? How is he back when he was your student? I'm sorry, I need to ask. He doesn't talk much about that.
And there's a reason why. Please don't.
Tried to sleep on the first day of class. He didn't repeat it after what I made him do when I caught him. Students like him are the easiest to deal with, once you know what piques their interest. I'd have to say, he's one of the very few who's actually interested in the subject, though. But there was this one time when...
By the end of the conversation, Ash looked like she's praying for the ground to swallow him. He's never been one to talk about himself. What I know about him are mostly bits and pieces I've gleaned over the years. He's an atrocious singer, he's bad at art, and he has a personal vendetta against mornings. Now, it feels he isn't that hard to figure out after all. It's past noon when Andrew has to leave us for another meeting. But before we separate,
Miss Santos, a word of advice. Just keep in mind that when it comes to cases such as this, they aren't always what they seem.
naturally, the mention of leather was brought up several times during our talk. And though Ash right in that Andrew offers a different perspective, he has left me with a more questions than answers instead.
Zach, this is not helpful at all.
What is she? What does she want from me? Is she ever going to leave? They all continued to bug me after we left the coffee shop. I don't even notice when Ash takes a different route on our way back.
Where are we going? You can drop me off at the park.
Guess. You have 3 chances.
I'm serious, Ash. Where are we going?
He doesn't answer, but shortly he stops his car in front of a small, nondescript food stall a little ways away from the movie house. If I wasn't paying close attention, I would have missed it without a doubt. He motions for me to wait and he gets out the car and walks in his direction. Sheesh, if you want to buy something, just say it. No need to make yourself look mysterious. It makes you look more like a dork than cool. The wait isn't long, however. Soon he's walking back holding 2 fish-shaped cones in both his hands. Ice cream, parfait, across for the 2. By the time he's back inside the car, I've given up any effort to figure out what he brought. Now that it looks bad, it's actually quite cute.
Here, take it.
I have to move my head back a little when he thrusts it at me to avoid the ice cream and fruit toppings from ending up on my nose.
What's this for?
Have you seen that? I know what that is. Well, y'all done seen that off watch anime, bro.
My arm's getting tired. 5, 4, 3, 2.
With a wary glance, I take it off his hands. I still don't understand why there's a need for ice cream today. Nevertheless, I take a small bite. It's actually pretty good. It must have shone in my face because he chuckles as soon as I take another one.
Saw the place open the other day when we watched Zach's movie. Thought I should give it a try. It doesn't seem like a bad place to get food from time to time.
And you're giving me free ice cream because...
Do I need to have a reason?
Are you really going to ask me that?
Here's the things with Ashton Frey. He does not just treat anyone to free food because he feel like it. He's that much of a Scrooge. Hell, he even asked me to teach him how to haggle once. Haggle. Of all the people who'd asked me that, I'd have expected such a request from Becca, but Ash, not at all. If I'm going to be honest, he looks a bit constipated with the expression on his face right now. I think he's starting to regret ever buying this.
The other day? The movie with Zach and Rebecca? Rebecca's there, yeah, I think so. Yeah, anyway, during the movie, we, that is, shit. Should have written down something first.
Get to the point, Ashton.
Right. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry for, not
You got
getting to the
blushing
point.
like that, here.
I'm sorry for the other day. I got carried away. I said things that upset you. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay? That's all? That's all you're going to say? You're not still angry, are you?
You didn't have to buy me anything. A simple sorry would have been enough.
I bite to the cone again, a small attempt to keep myself occupied and relieve the heat crawling up my face. It doesn't work, but at least I don't have to look at him. Why I'm feeling embarrassed over an apology, I have no idea. it's not like it wasn't called for. They were being mean, especially him, and in that fraction of a second it hits me. He skipped his day off just for that. I should be the one apologizing and thanking him. Silence is an awkward company while we finish our respective snacks. There are no words for this. For people like us, for understanding and sentiments like this. Yet in the instance, they won't come. As promised, he dropped me at the park right after. Phrases unsaid, still hanging heavily in the air. In this world of the city, park gives off a lazier and more languid vibe than usual. Where children are usually seen running around and playing, there are now people lying, leaning back on their picnic blankets, simply enjoying the afternoon sun. The smell of food drifts from nearby carts, and if the wind blows the right direction, one would catch the whiff of freshly trimmed grass. Maybe I should try walking home today to get my mind off things. To try and find the words somehow. I haven't done that in a while.
Thanks, Ash, for today.
No problem. Say hi to Rebecca for me.
Yeah, I will.
Even so, I linger. We both do. A mild humid breeze brings the smell of dried leaves, warmed earth, and a far-off distant memory of false starts and awkward first meetings. Same place, same people playing the same parts. Funny how of all the days, my brain chooses to remember it now.
Wait, Belle.
Ash exits his car. His strides are unsteady when he approaches me. Or maybe this is his uncertainty showing, I'm not quite sure. He has never looked uncertain to me before. Always calm, always sure, always collected. He stops a short distance from me, close enough that he's within arm reach, but just far enough for his voice to be heard over a decent small talk, if this is what it's going to be. He fumbles for something in his pockets.
Here, catch.
The small bag lands cleanly on my outstretched hands before it hits the ground. I raise an eyebrow at him and responds by shrugging and stuffing both his hands back into his pockets. Somewhere to the side, he finds an interesting spot to look at. Sometimes you have to wait, Papa said long ago. For once this time I listen. His voice is halting, hesitant when he finds it again.
My mom used to make me carry around one of those when I was young. To ward off evil and bring you luck, she said. I don't believe in this stuff now, but if it makes you feel safe since you're a total scaredy cat, then I guess it's okay to give you one to carry around.
Perhaps at the moment there aren't any words for this. I've never been good with those. But right now, I could thank him in the best way I know how. I chose the short distance separators and gave him a light punch on his arm. The gesture, familiar in the place of phrases one couldn't spin together or answer too early to seek out.
See, you can be pretty nice when you're trying.
I am nice.
When you're sleeping, but thanks for this.
Don't go losing it. It brings bad luck if you do.
Wait, are you serious?
I knew that to catch this asshole.
Yeah, that's what they say.
You did this on purpose, didn't you? Oh, I should have known.
Not entirely. But seriously, if anything happens, tell me. I'll be around.
Before leaving, he waves at me one last time. He's back to teasing me, back to our usual routine, back to what we're comfortable with. But for all that, I believe in him. I just hope I can keep him safe. A light wind blows again, sending dry leaves swirling and the distant smell of earth into the air. For the first time, the sunlight feels less harsh. Maybe a walk is good. I need to visit the grocery too. Come to think of it, wasn't there an art store that opened recently near the park? The cat name is Berthuel. Or at least that's what his collar says. It's an odd name to give a cat in my opinion. But it speaks grace, much like the one that carries it. It shows in the way he switches his tail and his eyes follow my hand's every movement. I'm not sure what he finds fascinating in me, to be honest. I wasn't a very picture of grace when he found me after all. It was a bad idea carrying 2 heavy bags of newly bought art materials and groceries without help or a shoe ride home. In hindsight, perhaps I should have bought all of these at the same time. I didn't even make it past the park. And now I'm suffering underneath the glaring afternoon sun, hunched up on the park bench and drenched in sweat, in the company of a cat curiously watching my every movement. I hope it stays where it is. It's just a black cat, but back at home they're considered ill omens.
Don't look at me like that. I can act graceful as well if I want to.
Not that I ever acted graceful in my life, of course. Growing up with a rowdy younger brother and sister does that. Or maybe it's the opposite. Mama used to call me a little troublemaker before. Well, graceful or not, there's no use moping. A short breather and then I'm off home. Besides, it isn't like the company is bad, even as a cat, as long as it doesn't bite or crosses my path.
Well, where's your owner anyway?
He has one, doesn't he? An owner? That's what the collar's for, isn't it? A badge is wrapped around one of his paws, though. I wonder what happened to it. Did he run away?
Well, if you don't have one, I won't be able to take you in. My apartment doesn't allow pets. I tried to bring one home before, a cat. Not black, of course. And Rebecca threw a fit before the landlady could.
I take a small packet of sweets from one of my bags besides me and I pop it open. As soon as I'm about to put it into my mouth, he meows. My hand stops.
Do you want one?
He does meow again as I'm expecting him to, but I take his unblinking gaze as a yes. I shift the piece to my palm and hold it up to him warily. He sniffs at it once, twice before.
Baruthia!
Oh.
Like a good, properly trained pet, Baruthio responds to that as soon as he's called. I was pretty close, bro. Recognition comes as soon as my head snaps in the direction of the voice. Mix McCloud. Oh yeah, that's the art lady. Yeah, it might be interior design. Yeah, the art lady. Yeah, same thing.
I'm sorry. Did my cat hurt you? Oh, it's you.
Nice to meet you again, Miss McCullough.
Were you harmed in any way? I'm sorry. Baruthiel's not exactly fond of other people. Even run away from the veterinarian right now.
Oh no, he was just sniffing my hand earlier.
My Baruthiel's a she.
She? All this time I thought. The pause in conversation, if this can be called one, is uncomfortable. We're merely 2 people working in different jobs for the same client. Frankly, meeting like this doesn't happen a lot, and if it does, a simple nod in the head is enough. Still trying to be friendly won't hurt you, right? Talk about the cat. I keep my tone cordial and warm.
I'm actually surprised you have a cat, Miss McCullough.
And why exactly is that? There are a lot of people who have pets.
Yeah, but not a black one. I'm amazed you're taking care of one.
I don't understand what you're trying to get at. Is there a problem with my cat?
No, not at all. She's very sweet. Just in other cultures, aren't they a sign of bad luck?
Back at home it is. My grandma used to tell me stories about it, and
Nothing has happened to me so far.
displeasure is evidence on her face. I probably talked about job, huh? Of course, I forgot that from other people, black cats are an omen of good luck. There you go again, running your mouth off, Isabel. I rack my brain for a way to remedy the situation, but she holds out a hand.
This is a good place to stop and end this conversation, don't you think so? It is good to see you again, Santos.
A complete dismissal if I ever heard one. I watch her as she leaves, though she stops shortly before crossing the threshold separating the park and the street. She faces me again, looking like there's something she has forgotten to say.
By the way, about the Ermengarde Mansion, with my clients, it's the rights, I mean, I hope you don't mind me asking, but has the deal been finalized?
I just talked about the job.
There's still a few papers they need, but the house is more or less theirs now.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know.
Wait, about the mansion, the
letter, the same one they saw. Whoever she is, she's asking for help. Someone. I want to tell Miss, whatever I ain't saying, that the urban legends aren't just legends anymore. They're real. She is not going to believe me.
Don't mind me. I need to go too. Have a good day, Miss McCullough.
Alright. I hasten to pick up all the bags I've left on the bench and ran as far as my legs can take me. In that moment, what I'm carrying in my hand weighs far lighter than the open wave of guilt trying to consume me. Home. I want to go home. Anywhere where I won't be reminded of the house. Of her. Of my own cowardice. The food tastes less appeasing tonight. Okay. A pity. One would think that someone would have been on a continuous binge of instant noodles would find a home-cooked meal enjoyable. But it isn't. Hunger isn't what is gnawing at me tonight, neither are my sore muscles. The TV runs loud in the background, but what it says barely registers in my brain. It's hard when the things you're trying to forget keep returning to the forefront of your mind. It distracts you, eats at you, devours you. I wish this would stop. I wish I wasn't the one who picked it up. I wish it was somebody else.
In other local news, a woman was found dead in her home yesterday evening. Luxbourne police officials are currently investigating the crime scene, but has classified the case as homicide. The victim, identified as Rose Pamela Cooper, 33 years old, working as a real estate agent.
Oh. Rose.
Discovered lying in a pool of blood in her two-bedroom flat with the words "Help me" repeatedly written on the walls.
No. This isn't what I want. This isn't supposed to happen. None of this is supposed to happen. No one's supposed to die. Those are just stories, right? Legends. That's what everyone keeps telling me, so why? And I immediately rush to my study table and search on my phone. My hand, cold from dread, clings tightly to it as soon as it touches its edges. A piece of folded paper, the letter lying unassumingly beside it, slips to the floor when I pick up the device. But I pay it no mind. There are more important things right now. Right now, I need to call her. I I was just with her not too long ago and she was okay. No. It isn't Rose, I'm sure of it. I just talked to her and a sob escapes me and hot tears begin to blur my vision. One after another, they trickle down, weighed by the very same kid I refused to admit I've been carrying from the start. The same one I've been hiding from. The same one that's pushed the people I care about to danger. My hand shakes as I navigate to Rose's number on my contact list. She'll answer right. That's what she always does. She'll pick it up, tell me to turn down the waterworks and call me a wuss afterwards.
She'll answer. Please answer, Rose.
Again and again I dial, whispering, praying, pleading.
Come on, Rose. Don't do this to me. Please pick up. I know you're there, Rose. You're not dead. Please tell me you're not.
This adds to the series of deaths and disappearances that has plagued Luxbourne in the recent years. The authorities are currently looking at a possible link with the notorious Anslem Butcher case.
The TV runs loud in the background. A deafening static sounds from my phone speakers, but in my ears I can only hear the screams, her plea, her whispers. We are not safe.
I guess we can stay here.